Radio's creation. Student-led from inception to narration. Crafting content from dawn until dusk. All students involved in the work and the fuss. In the heart of Town View where voices reside. Student-led discussions where ideas collide. From interviews with leaders, peers, and businesses. Just watch us work, creating innovative content. Every aspect managed with student finesse. From podcast production to social media press. No task too daunting, no challenge too grand. KSBM Radio, we taking a stand. KSBM Radio, students leading the way. Every task idea, we seize the day. Witness now as all of our efforts break through. KSBM Radio, the voice of Town View.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hello and welcome back to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. I'm your host, Emilia, and joining me are my fellow hosts,
Dulce,
Ghost,
and Terrence.
And today we have a very special guest joining us today. Today's guest is Ms. Andrea Albright, and the Managing Director and Treasury Manager for Bank of America, and our principal for the day. As a leader in the banking industry, Ms. Albright has a wealth of experience that can inspire our future business leaders here at the Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management. She is here today to answer some questions about her career. Before we get started, Ms. Albright, would you like to share anything about yourself?
Sure. One, thanks for having me today. Happy to be here. I guess, a couple things about myself. As you mentioned, I work for Bank of America. I've been with Bank of America for 24 years. I'm a mother. I have twin daughters that are 14 years old and 8th grade. So being here today and seeing kind of your experience in high school is definitely sort of special to me, knowing that my kids are moving on to 9th grade next year. So
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's good, yeah.
So to get on to our first question, what has been your biggest source of motivation throughout your career journey?
I think there's probably not one thing, and I'm sure it has evolved over the years. Right now, I think the most significant motivation I have is just being a mom of, 2 daughters that I want to have. I want them to have every opportunity that they can, and so when I think about all the things that I do in sort of my why, I mentioned this earlier to a group of students, my why is really about my daughters and seeing them grow up and have every opportunity that they can have in life. And then earlier on, I think it was just trying to find my place in the world.
Okay, so our second question. With many people changing their majors, how did your college experiences influence your path into the business world?
Yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I probably still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, even though I am in my 40s. So I think you kind of look, sometimes, especially when you're younger, you tend to look at successful people and you think, wow, they have it all figured out. And I would say the majority of people, some do, some have like a path and they follow that path. But I would say majority of people really don't have it all figured out. So I knew I wanted to go to business school, mainly because my stepdad was successful in the real estate world. And I thought I wanted to go into real estate just like he did. And I went to the University of Texas, McCombs School of Business. I was a finance major. And, I had no idea I wanted to be a banker. And I just ended up at Bank of America. And I'm one of those rare individuals that has been in the same company for the last 24 years since I graduated college. They hired me as an analyst, and I've kind of, my career navigated through time with Bank of America. So, I think it's just you make the best choices you can based on the tools and what you know at that time, and you can continue to tweak and change as you continue forward.
What has been the most defining career opportunity for you, and what challenges did you face while navigating it?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I've been with Bank of America for 24 years, and I have held a number of roles in the company. I would say probably the most challenging but also most rewarding is the role that I have right now. I manage a team of professional individuals, and I have 9 folks that report to me. I've been doing it for the last 7 years, and I think that what was challenging about it is taking a step back. Before that point, before you're a manager, you're what's called an individual contributor, which means your job, your function contributes to the greater goal of the organization. As a manager, you're managing people, and taking a step back and realizing it's no longer about you anymore. It's about the success of your team. When you walk into a client's office, it's not about you. It's about how can you make your teammate be the most successful in that conversation, in that meeting. It is, often it's putting your own sort of needs, second, and thinking about how can I help inspire, motivate, develop these individuals who are on my team. And then you take that and you go into your personal life and you're doing the same thing for your kids and your family and things like that. So I would say, it has been a challenge, but in a really positive way. You can get a lot of growth in being a manager.
And then going to your education, what class would you say helped you the most or has helped you the most? And how can you still apply that to like your everyday life, your everyday work life?
Yeah. I think, one, it's hard for me because my brain doesn't work that way, to remember a pivotal class. But when I take a step back and think about it, I really feel like my business communications class, everything, the classes that you take in college and high school are important, and overall they're all working towards developing a critical thinking mindset, which is so important. I think that having really good, or I should say strong, critical thinking skills is really important in the corporate world, just because especially in my line of work, we're constantly solving problems for our clients. But business communications, was really pivotal for me because I left school knowing how to communicate professionally in a concise way, but also in a way that's easy to read. And so verbal and written communication is really, really important in the corporate world. So I would say that.
You once mentioned feeling like a small fish in a big pond for the BBA Finance Alum Spotlight. Do you still feel that way in new opportunities or experiences like this program?
Yeah, I always like that analogy. And I remember when I was in high school and I was thinking about where I wanted to go to college or where I wanted to work, and speaking with my parents, they would say, do you want to be a big fish in a small pond, or do you want to be a small fish in a big pond? And when I took a step back and really thought about it, I always knew I wanted to be a small fish in a big pond, because where there is the big ponds have the most opportunity. Where there's opportunity, there's challenge and there's growth. So working for a company, first going to University of Texas, it's such a huge school, but it didn't feel like a huge school because there's something for everybody on campus, whatever it is that you're interested in. And then starting my career in a really large global company, there's something for everybody. So if you think about it, Bank of America is a bank, but something that our CEO says, and a lot of people really don't think about, is we're really more of a technology company than anything. If you think about all the data that goes through our systems and what we have to do with that data and manage that data, and everything that our clients or customers need and want from our company, all kind of comes down to technology. So being a small fish in a big pond doesn't mean you can't be a big fish. It just means that you get to experience growth and challenge of all sorts within a really large umbrella.
What challenges, if any, did you face as a woman in a male-dominated industry, and how did you overcome them?
That's a really great question. Times now, thankfully, have evolved, and I think that being a woman in my industry today is different than being a woman in my industry when I graduated in 2000. I remember I was a credit analyst, new in the organization. They sent us out to Charlotte, where our headquarters are, to meet the executives, the senior leadership team for our line of business. Also, we were going through training. And I remember that all the senior leaders in that line of business all stood up in the front of the room. And I consciously thought to myself when I looked up there that almost every leader except for two were men. And the two that were female was HR and marketing. And that's generally what it was. Now, I'm proud to say that in my line of business locally here in Dallas, just within the last 2 years, every leadership position on the local leadership team are held by women. And not just women, but almost probably 60, 70% women of color. So it's been just an amazing stride forward in progressing. Our view is we want to mirror the communities we serve. The communities we serve are at least 50% female and have way more diversity than we have seen in the past. So there's still work to do, but it's improving. So I would say I felt like I had a lot of great mentors lifting me up, both female and male. I didn't feel like I was being held back as a woman, but you can only be what you can see. So I do feel like that not seeing all the women in front of the room when I first started out maybe impacted my view of what my growth potential would be, and thankfully, it didn't permanently impact it. And we're here today in a company where we are 50% female.
Can you give us an example on how a mentor built you up, as you said?
Yeah. Oh, that's a hard question. There are formal mentors and there are informal mentors. I think that recognizing the informal mentors is important. And I can't really pick a person. I can just say that I've had, I have been very fortunate that there have been a number of individuals who saw my potential and wanted to help me as I progressed along. And, as I'm saying this, thinking through it, maybe what I would say is really important is being observant. So I think I learned more watching people than having people talk to me. And I learned more about what I wanted to, the kind of leader I wanted to be by watching people. I also kind of learned the leader I didn't want to be by watching people. So I think it's important to observe and then find opportunities to get to know people that you think are doing it right.
Is there any advice you would give to people who haven't decided what they want to do in the future?
I think the best advice I'd give you is kind of what was given to me. You don't have to know. You don't have to figure it out. You don't really know what you need to be when you grow up. Find something that you can do and you can do well, and do it until you figure it out. And that's kind of how I've always navigated. I don't know that there was never really a time in my path where I was like, I want to be a banker. Oh, I want to be not only a banker, but I want to be in the treasury management space. It just all kind of happened. And I really love what I do. I love that I get to learn new things all the time. I love that I get to help large companies solve problems in their operations. And I would have never have known or figured that out at your age or even in college. So I would just say, pick a pathway that is interesting to you, learn about it, find the things that you do well, and keep doing that well until you figure it out.
So how do you manage your career growth, especially with new opportunities arise? And what challenges have you faced when you're adjusting to these new roles?
So career goals when no opportunities arise. I guess you're saying maybe you have goals, but maybe the opportunity isn't available for you at that point in time. Is that
when new opportunities arise?
Oh, when new opportunities arise. Well, I think I take a step back and I think about where I feel my strengths are and where I feel I have areas of improvement. One of the things I tell young individuals who join our company is there's kind of this tendency to feel like you have to climb a vertical ladder, right? You have to keep taking that next job or that next leadership role, that next title, that next, band promotion. However, I try to tell them to think through your career is really an accumulation of skills. It's not necessarily about title. It's about the skills that you're building and you're learning. And those skills are what provide you maximum opportunities for the future. So sometimes you can be progressing your career by moving laterally. So maybe it's not a title promotion. Maybe it's not even a compensation promotion, but you're moving laterally and you're really honing into a skill that you think is a gap for yourself and trying to build upon that so that now you have, 3 really, really good skills that you can take and be transferable to the next opportunity.
What inspired you to participate in the Principal for a Day program?
That's a great question. I started partnering with the Chamber of Commerce. I am I'm alumni of Leadership Dallas, which is a leadership program where they take professionals in the business community and we get to learn all about the city of Dallas and how it functions, the community, the challenges of the community. And the goal is really to think about how do we make Dallas a thriving economic community for everyone, not just some. And so that, along with the fact that I'm really passionate around education and I'm also a big proponent of making sure that everyone has equal opportunities, I really wanted to participate in this program just to learn more about the school and also to have time to sit with kids like you, students like you, and just try to help, in any way I can.
Well, thank you so much. This is going to be it for today's episode. Once again, thank you so much, Ms. Albright, for sharing your experiences and advice. Your story has been truly inspiring, and we appreciate your time with us today. It was very insightful, and we hope you felt welcomed here at the School of Business and Management. Thank you so much for our viewers. Thank you for watching KSBM Radio, the voice of Town View. Don't forget to follow us on all our social medias down below. And to all our viewers, stay awesome.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVT or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.